Hello, everybody. I'm Akintunde of the Haitians. So, I noticed that a lot of Haitians know about Bataille Vertières, or the Battle of Vertières, which is the final battle which led to Haiti's independence in 1804, right? But do you guys know about the Siege of Santo Domingo, the 1805 Siege of Santo Domingo? You know, so from 1795 to 1804, the entire island was a single French colony called Saint Domingue, because Spain ceded Santo Domingo to France through the Treaty of Basel. So the Haitians, when the Haitians declared the entire island independent from France, or Saint Domingue independent from France, the entire island belonged to the Haitians. So you had this guy named Jean-Louis Ferrand. He refused to surrender to the Haitians. After the Haitians defeated the French, he refused to surrender. So he began to, in 1803, after the Battle of Vertières, he went to the eastern side of the island because the Haitians were not as strong on the eastern side of the island. There are some Haitian soldiers there, but we were not as strong. Our presence was as strong. So once the Haitians declared independence in 1804, you, he refused to recognize Haiti independence. After I believe people said, I believe Rochambeau said leave. He refused to surrender because he seen black people as inferior. He's like the Haitians are a bunch of rebel slaves who got free. We must agitate. So he's agitating on the eastern side of the island to re-enslave Haitians, the Haitian people. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, so Jean-Jacques Dessalines undertook the campaign of the East because to liberate French occupied eastern Haiti from Jean Louis Ferrand. Because remember, the entire island belonged to Haiti according to the first constitution of Haiti, right? Because when we declared independence, the entire island belonged to Haiti, belonged to the Haitians. Jean Louis Ferrand didn't recognize Haiti's independence. He's still seen the entire island as Saint Domingue. And Dessalines was like, no, this is not Saint Domingue anymore. This is IET. You're gonna respect Haitian sovereignty, and we're gonna put you in your place. So on March 6, 1805, uh, Jean-Jacques Dessalines undertook the campaign of the East to siege the city of Santo Domingo. That siege lasted for 3 weeks, right? The Haitians were defeated. Had the Haitians not withdrew, the Haitians would have defeated the French. The reason why the Haitians retreated or withdrew was because they saw what what's it called? French ships. They thought they saw French ships um, heading towards the western side of the island. So Dessalines withdrew, right? And you know, after the withdrew from the battle, the Haitians began uh, basically they put the French and Spanish to the sword, right? Because Jean Louis Ferrand ordered the Spanish to re-enslave Haitian children under 14 years of age and bring them to the eastern side of the island. He ordered but basically the entire island was Haitian territory because of the Treaty of Basel, right? But you had but the east was on the French occupation, so that's the reason why the Haitians took up arms against Jean Louis Ferrand in 1805, right? So you have Dominicans who call it the Haitians killed Dominicans. No, the Haitians killed Spaniards who were allies with the French, who allied with the French to re-enslave Haitians under 14 years of age. Because Jean Louis Ferrand ordered them to conduct slave raids into the western side of Haiti. Because remember, the western side of Haiti was liberated, but not the eastern side of Haiti, because Jean Louis after the Bataille Vertière, Jean Louis Ferrand he went to the eastern side of the island because the Haitian presence was not as strong, and he began agitating. So the Haitians, you know, I mean, It was not an invasion, because that was Haitian soil, that was Haitian territory. But the Haitians, they what's the word? They undertook a military campaign to defeat Ferrand. Ferrand and the French were victorious because the Haitians retreated in 1805. Had the Haitians not retreated in 1805, the entire island would we would not have lost the eastern side of our island in 1809 to the Spanish. Because once the Haitians retreated in 1805, you had the Spanish. You know, this is how the thing. The Spanish and French worked together, but once they had a common enemy, because they had a common enemy who were the Haitians at that time. But once the Haitians retreated, they began fighting against each other, and the Spanish defeated Ferrand in 1809 or 1808, and the Spanish ended up recolonizing the eastern side of Haiti and reestablishing the colony of Santo Domingo. So we lost the eastern side of our island to the Spaniards, and that's why Santo Domingo was reestablished in 1809. So from 1809 onward, you had the western side of the island was Haiti, and the eastern side of the island was a Spanish colony. It wasn't like that. Santo Domingo wasn't reestablished until 1809, so there was no invasion. This is important to know because a lot of Haitians know about Bataille Berthier, but you don't know about this 1805 siege of Santo Domingo or the Treaty of Basel, which meant the entire island belonged to the Haitians, you know, because our independence was founded on that treaty. So the Haitians wanted Ferrand to just leave. But Ferrand just refused to surrender. So we took a campaign of the East to siege. And, a lot of Haitians died. There's this guy called General Bob. You know, he was sieging cities, I think in Santiago. And, once the Haitians were fighting the French and their Spanish allies, I believe 1,000 Haitians died. 1,000 Haitians died. General Bob and 1,000 Haitians died. So this was a war going on. Just because we won in 1803 doesn't mean we were still at war with the French. We were still at war with them. We are still at war with them because they refused to acknowledge Haiti's independence. The French didn't acknowledge Haiti's independence until 1825. You know what I'm saying? Like Ferrand was like the first public enemy of Haiti. Like, why did you not just surrender? Had the Haitians not retreated and had Jean-Louis Ferrand not surrendered, we would be governing the whole island right now. Santo Domingo would not be reestablished in 1809. Spanish Haiti would have not declared independence in 1801, and the Dominican Republic would not exist because we would be ruling this island right now. It's really Jean-Louis Ferrand's fault. And it's also a mistake for not, basically defeating him. We should have defeated him, because this guy he ordered to re-enslave Haitians under 14 years of age when the island belonged to Haiti. Like who? You had no respect for Haitian sovereignty, But yeah, that's history, man. That's history. So I just wanted to share that because a lot of Haitians know about Bataille Berthier, but don't know about the Siege of Santo Domingo, which took place in 1805. Our ancestors died. 1,000 Haitians died, fighting to liberate the eastern side of their country from French occupation. You have to learn about that, So peace.